So, picking up right where we left off at the end of the last video, I said what we're going to do is get a little deeper into the Visual Basic script, and we're going to put some conditions into place so that rather than just unconditionally closing the form when the button is clicked on, there will be some checks that will be executed first. So let's close the table, open the form, View, Design View. Click on Close. Again, you always want to make sure that you've got the right object selected before you start changing properties. Click on the ellipsis, and so we're back into the Visual Basic script. What we're going to do is we're going to add some spaces here. And so like I said, right now, this was pretty straightforward. You click on the button and it executes a command. Now we want it to check for certain conditions before that is executed. So it's in the form of an if statement. So you say, if something is true, then close. So we're adding a condition to that which is currently without condition. And I'm actually going to kind of write this right to left, because normally the logic flows left to right, but to explain what's going on, it's really right to left. So first of all, we're going to look at a field. We'll start with just one field and then expand to the others. We're going to say if a field is blank, then the close command will not occur. So to reference the object, you say me, and then you have the name of the object. Well, everything started with the word book, so it keeps it all together. So if me.bookAuthor, so this is on the form. It's the second field. So if this is not null, that is, if it's not blank, we want something to happen. Well, the way that's written, so is null, but we want it to not be null. So for whatever reason, rather than saying is not null, if not is null. Oops, sorry, I did missed. So N-U-L-L, sorry, I missed the U. So rather than saying is not null, that would be more English-like, more normal structure. Instead, it's if not is null. I know, sounds crazy. I'm just giving you a minute to let that sink in. So if not is null, then do something. It's going to do that, and then end if. So basically, you just kind of created this little routine, this loop, encapsulated the command within it. So if this field on this form is not null, then it will close. So let's save that, close that, save that, and we'll go to View. Now watch what happens. Now, first of all, it's not checking the title. Presumably you have the title, but we can check that as well. But watch what happens when I click Close. Nothing. Put in some spaces. Doesn't take it. I have to put in at least one character. Now it takes it. So that's just the beginning. You are required to put in some kind of value. Now, obviously, the number one probably isn't a valid author name. But what you can also do is you can also check length. We'll get to that in a minute. But now what you've done is now you've created a condition. There's the number one that you put in. So let's delete that record. Let's delete that row. So you can just left click and choose delete. And then yes, we'll leave that one there. And now to check the other fields, it's actually really easy. It's pretty much just rinse and repeat. So let's go right back to where we were. So let's close the table, open up the form, View, Design View. Once again, click on the button to make sure you have the right object selected. Click on the ellipsis. Different languages, like C# or whatever you're using, have different ways of checking multiple conditions. Like for instance, if you're using C#, they use the double ampersand for and, or the double pipe for or. VB just straight up uses the word and. So click right here. Just type out the word and. You pretty much can copy and paste this, which avoids some potential typos. You just have to make a couple changes. So you can see, again, it's just rinse and repeat because you're saying if this is not true and if this is not true. So now we don't want to check the same field though. So delete that and go back to the dot, enter the dot again, just so you get the prompt. You don't have to manually type it out. And again, by taking a consistent naming convention, it makes this part a little bit easier. You really don't have to go searching for it. So we're also going to check for, say, all right, we checked author. Let's check publisher. And since we already checked the first one, I'm not going to keep going back to the form over and over again. I don't want to waste your time. You've seen the first one. Now let's just rinse and repeat. And so we checked for the author, the publisher, condition. Although there is something to be said about not doing too much at once, because if you make a typo, then you kind of have to backtrack. So let's actually check that right there, because I noticed that I deleted a parenthesis unintentionally. So author, publisher, and condition. So let's close this. So author, publisher, and condition. So author, publisher, and condition. So first we'll hit close, no error generated. Put a number 1 there, or whatever, bunch of characters. Close, see, no good. So that no longer is sufficient. Publisher, third time's the charm. There we go. So delete the row. I think I had said left click earlier. That's actually right click to bring up that menu. Okay, so we close that. Open this. Design. Button. Ellipsis. Whoops. And we just keep checking. Suppose we probably should put in the name of the book as well. And so it's book title. You can just grab this right corner. I'm pretty sure that there is a way to split a line so it doesn't keep going on and on and on. I'll check to see how that's done. I don't recall offhand, but not a big deal here. It's really not going to affect performance, and for the most part, you generally don't have lines this long. But yeah, you can break the conditions up into multiple actual lines, if I recall correctly. So let's see, we have author, publisher, condition, title. So we don't need condition again. So author, publisher, condition, title, author, publisher, condition. So I think it's just cover type is the last one. So, whoops, why did we get it? It suddenly turned red. What did it not like? Oh, I did and twice. Sorry about that. Teachable moment. It went red, so it already told you there's a problem. So yeah, one and only. So sorry about that. So again, it's really the same bit of code, just separated by ands. So if this field is not null, and if this field is not null, and if this field is not null. But again, we say is not null, but it's is null is the condition, and we're saying it's not that condition. So I believe that should be everything. So we save, close, save, view. Okay, no error. Let's see. No good. No good. No good. No good. Perfect. So now every single field is required. Let's go back into that table. There it is. We'll delete both of these now. Actually, can I delete one at a time? Sorry. Okay, so now you have a form that requires you to fill in every single field, at least with a certain, at least with one character. Like I said, you could put in a control that looks for length. The only problem is you would have to be very careful because some books could have a single character or a very small amount of characters. So I will show you how to do that, but I think that as long as you have something in there that should be sufficient, because again, we're not really looking at a business application here. You're really looking at personal hobby use collectibles. Maybe you trade collectibles and that kind of thing. So let's leave it like this for now, and maybe I'll do an addendum at the end where we'll get a little bit deeper into the coding. But I'd rather move on to the next function, which people have been asking for, and that is the ability to run a report to see what you have, and that report will be based on different criteria, like show me every book by this author, or show me every book by this publisher, or show me every book where I have a soft cover but not a hardcover, things like that. So at the core of that functionality is what's known as a query. So a query basically you set up some criteria and it looks at whatever table you're pointing at and brings back the rows, bring back the records that meet that criteria. So because of that, we need to enter some values into this or else we don't have anything to search. So we'll just say book 1, Jane Doe. And as I type, you're going to notice a problem. And that is, as I mentioned before, about when you have a limited amount of choices that you can set up a drop-down box. One of the reasons for that is that, say I mistype Warner, switch the N and the R or something. If you're searching for Warner Publishing, but I wrote Warner Publishing, it won't find it. So that's another aspect to data integrity that we can look at. So the first one was just completeness. The next one is you can look at the individual fields. And we'll say poor condition. And you can skip ahead if you want, but one of the nice things about doing this is it's confirming that there aren't any problems with the data entry. So let's go back to Jane. So again, soft cover, hardcover, this would be a drop down. Go back to MS, press, and All right, let's just, as you can see, with the table already open, it looks like the values aren't there. So close the table and open it up and it's there again. So you got to be very careful. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. It's about making sure that table is closed because you may think that your values aren't being captured when they are. So let's do just a couple more. Okay, so I think we have enough to run a query. So close that. So how do you make a query? You click on Create, and this is where we were when we created the table and the form. Now we do Query Design. You can close this. I find it to be redundant. So this is a little bit different than really any other kind of structure that I've seen in design, and that is what you're doing is you're going to put the sources up here. In this case, we have one table. And then you're going to put the relevant fields down here, plus any criteria. There's actually a field that reads criteria, and so you can look for certain values. So just left click, drag and drop. If there's more fields than are displayed, you can just left click and drag that corner down. If you want everything, you can just left click, shift, left click again. So top and bottom, typical Windows shift, left click to select multiple values, multiple fields, I should say. So what we're going to do is first, just to show you how the query works, I'm going to hard code a result in here, but then we're going to use a form to modify the query. So we're going to, for book author, we'll put in Jane Doe in quotes, and now we're going to run it. And there you go. So that gives you the very basics of being able to search your database, the very beginnings of trying to determine whether or not you have a book. Now, obviously, as we said, I hard-coded Jane Doe as the author, so every time you run the query, you'll get exactly the same results. So this is an intermediary step. Again, iterative. We're showing you the beginnings, how a query works. Now that you've seen it, we'll build on this and show you how to put, rather than having a constant down here, you'd put a variable. So we'll just do one more. I believe the requester said publisher as well. So run. Gives us the same result, but that's because she's the only one with MS Press. So tell you what, well, that's fine. I was going to change one of the values, but it's based on it is indeed working. So let's save this query. So we're going to go up to this, and we're going to call this we'll call it what I have QRY. All right, so I think that's it for this video. We covered a lot of ground. The next video, what we're going to do is it's actually going to be a little bit more complex because in the next video, we're going to create a form that, as we mentioned at the beginning, not all forms do data entry. What the form is going to do is the form is going to drop values into the query, and then the query will give you results based on your selection. So right now, if I run the query, it's going to be exactly the same thing every time because that's hard-coded in. We don't want it to be hard-coded in. We want to be able to have a range of values. And another, one of the other options is the ability to look at book title, because people want to know, do I already own this book? Do I need to buy another one? Okay, so that should do it for now.